Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us today with Yes Education. I'm Bo O'Brien, as you may know. Welcome again today to what is a very special presentation that we have ready for you today. This is one of our first webinars that we've done for an institution in Switzerland. We're very lucky today to have Glion Institute of Higher Education and Roches presentation today, which will be conducted by Shini, who is the Associate Director of Summit Education. We're very lucky to have her today. She is based in Singapore, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Shini?
Yes, I'm based in Singapore.
Fantastic, fantastic. And we're really lucky today, and it's because of you. A lot of you have requested for a top higher education provider in Switzerland, and that's what Les Roches and Glion Institute of Higher Education is. They are it's one of the top hospitality institutions in the world. So we're very lucky to have them today. They're also accredited by NECHA alongside prestigious colleges around the world, such as Harvard and MIT. They're also accredited by that. And also they have a powerful combination of business education with hospitality knowledge, coupled with innovative and practical studies, ensuring strong work ethos and service awareness. They also have strong industry connections, more than 250 visits yearly, and students have an average of 5.8 internship offers. So it's more than just, and I think Shini will mention this today, it's more than just a hospitality school. There's so many other career directions where you can go on to, and especially that's what Switzerland offers as well. It's such a famous destination as well for study abroad, and people from all over the world go to Switzerland. So I think today, for those of you that are not aware of Switzerland as a study abroad destination, we're going to learn a lot about Switzerland today and what it offers, and also, of course, what this institution offers as well. So Shini, thank you so much for your time again, and I will pass the floor over to you right now, and perhaps you could give a little introduction on yourself as well.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Shini. I'm the Associate Director for Asia Pacific for Glion and Roches. So I'm very happy today for this opportunity to be able to share about our schools with you. So today I'll really be touching on in terms of actually the background and some key differences with our schools, as well as actually some unique selling points of our programs. And like really what was being mentioned, it's really beyond the hospitality scene and career path that students can really be looking at. And in these interesting, I would say, times that we are all in, students are really looking at something with that allows them to really explore different areas, a lot of versatility, and that is what we are looking at offering our students. So during the presentation and after the presentation, I know we're going to take some questions. Just feel free to reach out if there's any area that you would like me to really address. So I think without further ado, I'll start off the presentation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and just remember, guys, like Shini said, if you have any questions, we will answer them at the end. But feel free to put your questions in the chat box right now.
Yeah, so actually, if I happen to spot them, I'll try to cover them as I go on. Okay, I just need
oh yes. I will share it to you. No problem.
Thank you.
Should be okay now.
Yes, great.
Yeah,
Just
fantastic.
a quick sec. Okay. So I really start sharing about Glion. So basically, Glion is one of our two institutions that's based in Switzerland offering hospitality program. And I really like to equate the whole Glion education experience as a student stepping into a boutique. And this is what we really aim to offer to our students, that unique experience that you're going to have with a very personalized approach. Starting from a small class size of one faculty to 15 students for practical classes and one faculty to 35 students for academic classes. So of course, and at the same time, aside from that personalized approach, opportunity for the one-to-one session with the faculty, students, when you walk into a boutique, you're expecting the best, and that's what we really look aimed and offering to our students, learning from the best, where we pride ourselves in being able to attract the best talent, not just academically, but with their industry connection, to really come and teach our students the service excellence and setting the standard in the industry. So starting off, really to set that foundation, of course, we need a good program. And I'm very proud to actually announce here that all our programs are accredited by NACHI. And NACHI basically accredits Harvard, Yale, and MIT. So what really does that really mean for the student, aside from I have a program that's being accredited? So in order to get the accreditation, our schools will have to be the program has to reach a certain standard. Aside from that, basically for our faculty members, they need to meet a minimum requirement in terms of the academic caliber. So students can be assured that they are really learning from faculties that's qualified to teach them in the particular discipline, as well as the program is rigorous enough for them to really meet the demands of the industry. Which is why our institution, especially for Glion, is always ranked among the top 3 for hospitality education. So if, like what was being mentioned, if you're really looking at some hospitality program around the world, why not aim for the best? And we're not just among the top 3 for as an institution, we actually rank among the top 3 in the hearts of the employers and the employer reputation. So the employer reputation basically is basically an independent survey that's actually done by QS. So what they've actually done is actually to conduct this survey among all the employers, and to really get them to rank the likelihood of them applying from each institution. So Glion comes out among the top 3. So that actually has a lot to say about the Glion's reputation and ranking in the potential employers. So for Glion, we have got 3 campuses around the world, starting with the Glion campus in Switzerland, which is our first campus. So as you can see from the middle picture, it resembles kind of like a hotel. It is actually in a hotel that we have used for teaching purposes. So especially for, like, say, the bachelor students, they will be spending their first semester for the learning in this particular campus. After which, students will then have a choice to move on to either to stay in Switzerland, to go on to the purpose-built campus, which is Bo, that is really being designed to cater for more academic-based learning. Or they can really cross over to UK and continue their studies in our London campus. In fact, we're the only Swiss hospitality school that has a campus in London. So really quoting from what one student has actually shared with me, he really wants to combine the Swiss hospitality education with a pure English speaking environment, with very international and business centric environment. So this campus has that ability to cater and meet those needs. Going back to just now, when I mentioned about the boutique experience, and I mentioned about learning from the best, expecting the best is actually one of the experience they expect from a boutique, right? So of course, we really look at making sure that our students are here to really learn from the best by employing the most qualified people to teach the various modules, including starting from the practical arts component. We have got 3 morphed on campus, including 1 sommelier. Basically to really teach our students the finest of the industry. And morph, basically, if you're not too familiar with, they are basically like 3-star Michelin chefs, except that because they are not operating a restaurant, they cannot be equipped to a chef. They cannot actually get Michelin stars. So instead, they are being assigned the morphed level to really award them with the level in terms of excellence in the teaching in that particular area. And of course, academic side, aside from making sure that our faculty comes in with the right qualification and knowledge, we want them to also come in with industry connection experience, so that whatever they teach our students is really current. And on top of that, they are able to connect our students to the industry. On the average, our faculty comes in with 13 years of industry experience. And moving on to kind of showing a little bit about the background of our students and where they come from in Glion, we have got a total about 1,600 students across the 3 campuses actually. So across that, we have about close to 100 different nationality. And the nationality distribution, it's pretty even, I would say. So it's actually quite interesting that our students will be sitting in a class size, so about average about 25, and maybe with every one of them coming from a different nationality. And for that, it actually says a lot, in that learning process for our students, because, they are able to graduate with, qualification, with but not just a quality education, but with connections for people around the world. Which is why actually close to 100% of our students basically graduate, with at least 1 job offer by the time of the graduation day. Going into the program, for Glion, we offer a bachelor program in international hospitality business. So really addressing like some of the questions, and in fact, this I would say business program is often one of the most inquired about program. So we do offer a business program. So this is a BBA, which means that students graduating from our school, they have all the knowledge that the business students should have. But on top of that, they have another advantage of understanding what the hospitality scene is, understanding how to apply that experience to your different business, which is why they have an advantage over other business students. Starting from semester 1, where they will be understanding about the operations of a business in a hotel setting, which is why they will actually start off in Glion, which is an actual hotel. So the key thing about this particular this semester will also be that students will be focusing on the injection of the element of excellence, luxury within the industry, within the business. Now, understanding what is luxury hospitality. Now, what is the gastronomic scene about? So much to the extent we are also having a 2 weeks of a master class in our sister school, which is in École Ducasse in Paris, where they'll not just have some lessons within the École Ducasse itself, they will also be visiting the various restaurants that Alain Ducasse has in Paris to really understand further about managing a food outlet, a food establishment. In fact, actually, if you are aware, like Alan Ducasse, he's actually the chef with the most number of Michelin stars. So he's able to really share with students, how to establish a business from scratch. In semester 2, bring with them the knowledge they have learned in semester 1. This would then mark the first working experience for a lot of our bachelor students. So semester 2 is basically a 6 months of internship for our students, which I would say about 75% of them would really be going into more of an F&B or even a room division, more of the hotel operations side, really to build that foundation that they have started off in their semester 1. Semester 3 basically will have students start going into business element, understanding about finance, the marketing, and so on and so forth. Same with semester 4. And the interesting thing about this 2 semesters is that aside from actually going into Glion, either deciding to go into Glion, Switzerland campus in Bowl, or to go over to Glion, London, they can also choose to go to Les Roches, Spain, or Les Roches, Shanghai for 1 semester. In semester 5 would be the second internship, and majority of the students by this internship will take up a supervisory role. In fact, actually, we've got close to 60% of them at the end of this internship, they get offered by the company. Semester 6 would then, students will be gathering together, their academic knowledge together with 1 year working experience to really go into deep dive further into understanding about building business strategies before the end of their bachelor program with us with the specializations. In fact, we are the very few hospitality schools that do offer a specialization for students. So students really step out of our school, not just with a general business knowledge, they have the understanding about, the hospitality scene. They know how to apply that experience and knowledge into the various industry. They also specialize knowledge in the discipline that they have chosen. And the 3 areas that we have offered to students will be the luxury brand management in the international hotel development and finance, as well as international events management. So it is possible with the possibility of a multiple campus experience for our students to study and live in up to 6 different locations. Starting from semester 1, where they will be spending their time in 2 different campuses, in 2 different locations with the Swiss campus, as well as, spending 2 weeks in École Ducasse in Paris. In semester 2, they'll be going to another country to do their internship. I will share more on the internship support as well as the options and opportunity later. So for the semester 3, they can choose to go to stay in Switzerland, go over to London, or they can actually do 1 semester in Les Roches, Spain. They can go over to the China campus as well. And lastly, they choose to either stay in Switzerland or to stay in Glion, London. To help students, for those bachelor students who comes from a non-English speaking background, who may have difficulty meeting the English requirement, we do offer what we call the iHelp program, basically to meet the language requirement by the school. So the iHelp program has 2 different setup where students can be allocated based on their IELTS score. So like for those who have actually missed the requirement by 0.5, they do a 6 weeks before the start of the program. Or those students who miss the score by entire 1 point would then start off the semester with 1 full semester of the iHelp. So as you can see, the iHelp program is very different from doing English program in a language school. Aside from providing students the language support in this learning, listening, speaking, reading, writing, and the various component of the IELTS, we also offer students a foundation in their bachelor knowledge in hospitality, going into specific language in terms of like English for hospitality, understanding about the terms that they are going to use and cover in their bachelor program, and also actually understanding about the local culture and so on and so forth, so that they can be well prepared for the bachelor program. So as you can see, the iHelp program, if students have missed the score by 0.5, which usually that is quite a common case for those who do not have a full English learning environment, they would just have to spend like 6 weeks. That means they arrive 6 weeks earlier than their peers to start off the program. Of course, we also offer summer camp. And this summer camp is available in both Glion and Roches. It's available in the different campuses as well. This year, we were unable to run the program due to the COVID-19 situation, but likely next year we'll be running on the program during the similar dates. Going into the master's program, just let me take a quick look if I have actually some questions. Okay, I'll cover those questions later.
Yes, that's okay. There's a lot of questions, so yeah, you can cover them at the end is fine.
Yeah, because actually, I think one of the questions is which nationality occupies the most in the school. Okay, so as you can see, actually for Glion, it's 60% of this across the board with the 3 different campuses. About 60% are Europeans, but I would say less than 10% they are Swiss. So we still have a good number of students coming from different parts of Europe. We don't actually have a majority, if that is the kind of if that is the question that you're asking, because of the diversity within our student population. We really got a very good mixed, with a small student population of 1,600 students across 3 campuses. We have got close to 100 different nationality, so we don't really have a majority. Okay, the rest of the question, I'll answer it later because I'll be covering. Okay, so for the 4 Master of Science program that we offer would be namely the Master of Science in International Hospitality Business, Master of Science in Luxury Management and Guest Experience, the Master of Science in Hospitality Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and lastly, the Master of Science in Finance, Real Estate and Hotel Development. So the key difference between a Master of Science and MBA is that basically this Master of Science, firstly, it's a specialized masters. As you can see, they are addressing a certain area or industry. And the second part is that students do not require any working experience to go into this master's program. So it's really catering to career changes or even to students who have just graduated from university, but they just want to have fast track their career by understanding more about certain industry, by having the management and or strategic knowledge about that. So they go into this Master of Science program, and each Master of Science, as you can see from the topics, they actually address a certain industry, catering to the different interests that students might have. Starting with the Master of Science International Hospitality Business, is a 1.5 years program. So all our Masters of Science in Glion, it's 1.5 years with 1 year on campus and 6 months of internship at the end of the program. So the International Hospitality Business Program is really designed to cater to students who want to find out more about the hospitality industry. It doesn't really necessarily means the hotel industry here. It can be leisure, travel, it can be service, it can even be what we call the experience industry, luxury retail, and things like that. So it's really covering the whole spectrum of customers facing industry in general, where students really understand about more of the managing that particular service element and aspect, the experience aspect for your customers. And that's what you're going to be covering in these 2 semesters. Students will also be going on a business trip to one of the European country to really connect with the industry, to witness and observe for themselves, what really happens on the ground before they return back to campus and continue on with their internship. For the luxury management and guest relations, so guest experience masters, basically, it's really going to cover and touch element on the introduction and management of the luxury element within a brand. And this industry need not just be the fashion industry, the luxury retail industry that is commonly correlated with this term. It can also be in terms of the other service aspect of it, which is why we break down the course into touching base on various elements, so that students can really find that this particular area of knowledge and discipline can be applicable across the board. And in fact, during the field trip, we will also be bringing students to a wide spectrum of businesses, so that they can really understand, how the element of luxury is being managed in different industry. Going into the hospitality entrepreneurship program, this particular program really covers and goes into the element of managing, business development. And in fact, I would like to use business development more than the word entrepreneurship in this extent, because once we talk about entrepreneurship, and a lot of students would then come to me and say like, hey, maybe I'm actually not suitable for this program because I don't have the background, I don't have the financial support, to run my own business. Okay, so not a lot of students do realize that the concept of entrepreneurship is basically the whole idea of being creative, breaking new grounds, finding new business solutions, and which is why this program really focuses on getting students to really understand the idea to business model. How do you conceptualize and put together a business idea? And how do you bring it to reality, all the way to funding it and managing that change? So this is what the whole program is really about. It's really about bringing, from a business idea through the whole business cycle. So students will really understand about setting up a new business, or even, changing the business structure. So which is why this program do end off with a field trip to Silicon Valley and Napa Valley, where of course they are being world famous for their innovation. And lastly, the Master of Science in Finance, Real Estate and Hotel Management. This program, I need to emphasize that it's only offered in September and only in the London campus. Okay, because the other program are offered, like say in the International Hospitality Business Program, is students have a choice to choose whether they want to stay in Switzerland or to go to London. The other 2 programs are offered in Switzerland, and this is the only program that's offered in London. So for this particular program, I would say that it's more of a kind of like close to a professional program, where students really understand from the hotelier perspective of managing this, I'll say one of the most expensive asset any business would actually have. And how do you manage it, not just as a property? How do you actually increase the value of the property through the soft infrastructure, not just on from the real aspect. So it's a real estate perspective of the buildings and the infrastructure, but what are the elements, the hospitality elements that you can actually bring in to increase the value of your asset, and how do you manage it? So this is basically the program that's about, it's really catering to students who are very interested in it from the investment perspective. For going into the internship, and I know a couple of questions it's on this area. So our students do international internship around the world. As you can see from the breakdown, this ratio doesn't quite change every year. It's pretty much the same. We still do have a good portion of students who just want to choose to stay in Europe for their internship. We do not assign internship. In fact, our students have a choice of internship. We provide them with the support from day one that they step onto campus. And these are just some of the examples of the internship that our students choose to go into. And here are some of the top recruiters of our students for internship. When I say that we provide them with the support from day one, so from day one that they step onto campus, they are being assigned a career counselor who will really work with them in terms of identifying their career aspiration. They will conduct career workshop for them to help them really understand, what kind of career direction could they take, help them prepare their CV, their interviews, and so on and so forth. Then they will also be given access to this portal, that this Simplicity, that has more than 7,000 different career options, internship options, and career job opportunities for our students to choose from. So they will apply and they will choose based on their own preference. Okay, I know there was a question on how are they allocated. So even we don't even need to really allocate or assign, really, because they have a good number of choices. So on the average, students get about 5.8 offers every internship period. So they can choose where they want to go to, they can choose what company they want to work, and which payment package they want to take up. Because when the company lists the internship, they will also share with the student, what kind of pay package they are offering. So here, on the average, we have more than 250 different companies that comes by to our campus to conduct recruitment talks, and they can be internship, they can be job. On top of that, we also have 2 career fair every year, which is why close to 100% of our students have at least one job offer by the time they graduate. So as you can see, actually, the top recruiters of our graduate do not change. It doesn't change very much from the top recruiters of our interns, really because a lot of students like to work for their internship companies, really to explore more opportunities with them. Of course, there are some changes, like they will then tend to explore different industries as well. Going into Roches. So similarly, Roches is among the top 3 for hospitality program as well. The key differences, as you can see, for Glion, the campuses are all located in Europe, whereas for Roches, we have a campus in Switzerland, one in Spain, as well as actually one nearer to us here in China, in Shanghai. Across the 3 different campuses, we have got a total student population of 2,700 students, of which we have got 1,200 of them in our main campus in Crans-Montana, which is the Swiss campus. We have got more than 100 different nationality in Roches. So for those students who are really looking at basically a very international environment, even more than even Glion, which has close to 100 different nationalities. They can really be looking at the Les Roches option. In Les Roches, because the learning takes a form of a more hands-on approach, where students do expect a lot of interaction in class and a lot of discussions. So in terms of class size is actually deliberately kept small at a student faculty ratio of 1:15. For the bachelor program for Les Roches, in terms of program structure, it's similar. It's 3.5 years with 2 internships. Similarly, students in Les Roches will get a chance to do a semester abroad in semester 3 and semester 4, where they can choose to go to the other campuses in Marbella, which are in Shanghai, or even go over to the Glion London campus. Okay, the focus of the Les Roches program is really on making sure that students have that very practical approach towards their learning, where the focus is really on giving students that not just academic knowledge, but the practical experience, of which starting from BBA1, which is semester 1, the practical arts, and this particular semester also sets Glion and Les Roches apart. So where Glion, I will always equate it to kind of that luxury boutique experience. Les Roches is really going into a different spectrum where students are being given that free space, and it's literally a free space under the module of restaurant lab, where they are given this space to explore their business ideas and see it come to life by running a restaurant using that space. So students are given a lot of opportunity to, I'll say, roll up their sleeves, get their hands dirty, to see how the academic knowledge they pick up in class and comes to life in front of them. There's a lot of room for creativity, a lot of room for students to engage in various learning activities. And which is why and this is also one key thing that differentiates the two schools. So like say for Glion, the students will all have to start in Switzerland. For Les Roches, they can start in any of the campus. For semester 2, they will do their first internship, which is 6 months. Semester 3 and semester 4, similarly, we are going to focus on the business element, the finance, the marketing, and so on and so forth. But of course, at the same time, for Les Roches, there's a separate element, where Glion students focus on luxury, and Les Roches students really focus on understanding about entrepreneurship, about sustainability. So all these are actually being added to the semester 3 and semester 4. At the same time, they can choose to actually do the semester exchange without the fear of actually having to, miss out on any credits because the modules has really been matched. Semester 5 is where students actually go and do their second internship. Semester 6 and semester 7, they then return back to campus to study about the strategy building as well as to go into the specialization. So for the 3 specializations that's actually being offered by Les Roches, it's slightly different from Glion in the sense that where Glion focused on offering an industry-based specialization, Les Roches specialization is more on the skill set where we go into entrepreneurship, digital marketing strategy, financial performance management. So as you can see, these 3 specializations can be applicable to any industry. The graduate program available in Les Roches would be the MBA program. The MBA program would basically be requiring students to have a minimum of 2 years of working experience. It's going to be a 1-year program that's on campus. Okay, so and on top of which students will actually choose to do one of the specialization. So the key difference between doing an MBA in a business school and a hospitality school is really, if you look at the module, students don't just actually understand about the strategy element, which most MBA would then cover. There is also specialized knowledge about the application of hospitality concept in the different businesses. We have just launching our new masters in the Roches, which is in hospitality and digital transformation. It's a 1.5 years program, 1 year on campus and a 6 months of internship. So the 1 year that students spend on campus, it's really to get them to understand the full cycle of introduction of changes into the industry, from understanding about the needs of the industry to what are the techniques, what are the available resources, to the strategies, to even then leading the change in which in this industry. So students will really be understanding about how do we actually bring in the element of technology into the hospitality scene. Lastly, we do offer a postgraduate diploma. So this is kind of a shorter program compared to the rest, which is just one semester on campus and 6 months of internship at the end. So it's really I would say, a quick start program to students who just want to join the industry. And they want to find out if this is really the program, the industry suitable for them. So this particular semester is 6 months where students kind of actually understand, it's like a concentrated version of the bachelor program, where they understand about operations of they understand about operations and management of the hospitality business in that. Okay, of course, there will also be some students coming in with non-hospitality background, especially in this particular program, and they want to really have some element of background. So we do have this hospitality immersion prep to prep students on the key elements like FFB, room diversion. For those students who have completed the postgraduate diploma and wish to progress further, they can actually go straight into the semester 2 of the MBA. So at which they would then be able to graduate with an MBA at the end of 1.5 years with us, which is 1 year from the postgraduate diploma program and 6 months from the MBA. So in the Roches, actually, students tend to actually explore a wide spectrum of industry, especially when it comes to whether they're internship and jobs. It's not just in traditional hospitality program, hospitality careers. They explore the different areas into management consultancy, luxury retails, conference, marketing, and so on and so forth. And which is why in terms of the companies that visit the Roches, you can actually see a huge variety. Similarly, in the Roches, we do offer students the support in terms of the preparation for their career, starting from, like, say, the career counselors that's being assigned to them from day one to help them through the whole process, and ending off with even offering them the opportunity to meet the different recruiters during our career days, through our internship portal, and so on and so forth. Okay, with that, I comes to an end of my presentation. So let me have a quick look at the questions.
Thank you so much for a fantastic presentation. That was very well detailed, and wow, there's so many great opportunities there. I love, and I'm sure all of our partners are so surprised at all the global opportunities as well. And you can see it's more than just a hospitality school, and definitely Switzerland should should also be known as a destination, not just everyone sorts to associate Switzerland with just hospitality, but it's so much more than that as well. And it's such a global destination as well. So I can see there's a lot of questions here, and I think you answered quite a lot of these questions already. So one of the first ones is, can we have this PowerPoint file? Yes, we will be giving the PowerPoint file, and the recording of this session will be on our YouTube page. So guys, if you want to share, if you had staff members that could not attend this session, we will be putting this on our YouTube page, so you can watch it anytime. And yeah, that's pretty convenient. So I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, next one. I can see you already answered which nationalities occupy the most in schools. Then I guess you covered a lot about internships, but yeah, how about salary? Maybe you just want to touch on again, what could you expect if you were doing some kind of internship that was paid? I understand some might not be, but if there were some that were paid, what could you expect?
Well, the thing is actually because our students are doing internship in, to date, on average, every year it's actually more than 60 different countries. So as you would expect, the salary, it's across a huge spectrum because it reflects the local cost of living as well.
Yeah.
One thing I would say to address this question is that students have a choice. So when they're applying through our internship portal, the companies will actually state the terms of employment as well, which includes the pay, the allowance, the benefit. So students get to choose. So what students usually choose is actually depending on what their priorities. I mean, I've got students who really choose blind based on the companies that they want to really work for. I've got students who really choose based on the overall package, like whether if they're looking for a high pay, I would say, go for a country that's minimum pay. So they have, and I mean, it can really be as low as there's no pay but allowance paid, or like say certain benefits being covered like accommodation and things like that, to pay as high as a couple of thousand euros a month. So it really depends on the student's preference. Yeah. So it's hard
of course.
to average.
You can't put a figure on it. It's just like asking what salary could I expect for anywhere. It's there's a huge range, a big range,
because
right?
because it's not just in one country. I mean, if it's just based in Europe, then it probably is easy. But they really go everywhere, and sometimes what parents want may not be what the kids want.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Okay, the second part is the registration condition for African countries, and okay.
Yeah, so we have some agent partner from Algeria, and I know you might not be totally familiar with that market, which is fine. But basically, Lisa wants to know are there any opportunities for students that don't finish year 12, maybe they finish year 11 and they're looking for maybe foundation or some kind of bridging program. What would the requirements be, and how could they best prepare themselves to go to Switzerland?
Well, in this case, we do have an option in Roches, which is a diploma level. So this is being designed for students who have completed a minimum of IGCSE year 10.
Year 10. Yeah.
So if they did IGCSE O levels in general, so if they've actually completed that, they are able to apply for Roches to go into the diploma program. So the diploma program is conducted parallel to the bachelor. It's essentially the first 5 semester of the bachelor program, but students are being separated with additional academic support because they come in with they are short of 2 years of
Mhm.
education. So we actually
Yeah.
provide them with the additional support there.
Mhm.
So after which actually this particular group of students may be given a chance to continue on to the bachelor. So they are able to continue on to semester 6 and 7. So they get a bachelor degree.
Mhm.
Provided they are able to achieve an average of 75% in their overall GPA. So
Yeah.
we actually, because we do take in a very small group of diploma students every year, 100% of them are able to actually progress to the bachelor. So for these particular students, they are able to also complete the bachelor in 3.5 years.
Got
Because
it.
the diploma is actually the first 5 semester, and then if they meet the overall requirement, they progress to 6 and 7 and graduate with a bachelor degree. If
Mhm.
not, they will complete at the diploma level. So
So
this
the
option,
diploma is 2 years, right?
2.5. So there's
2.5.
mm,
Yeah. Understood.
so
That's
that
good.
is
That's really good to know. So, but let's say there are students that finish year 10 and then want to do the diploma. How would their visa status change if they're under 18 years old? Is there a different visa status? Would they have to stay in the dorm? Um, what would the situation be for those students?
okay. So for there's a few situations. Okay, firstly, I need to emphasize that this option is only available in Lahore.
Yeah,
Okay.
Roches. Yeah.
So, yeah. So one thing is that we are able to take up a minimum of 17 half. They need to be 17 half by the
Uh,
time they enter the program. If
mhm.
because I will understand some of the students might be just 16.
Mhm.
So
Yes,
if for
that's what I was going to think. Yeah,
yeah, so
usually after year 10, they're 16, so
yes, they
maybe
can
still don't meet the age requirement.
they can go to the Spain campus. In Marbella, we are able to take in 16-year-olds. And in fact, we have every year we do have quite a good number of 16-year-olds joining us in Marbella campus. So the campus is able to take care of this particular group of students.
Ah, okay, understood.
Mm,
Yeah, in Spain only. Yeah.
yes, in Spain only. So what some students will do is that they because by the time they actually enter our campus, they will probably be like 16 half.
Hmm.
Because they do the program, they graduate O level 16 and they come in about 16 half. They can actually do the program in Spain and then they graduate from Switzerland. So they
Hmm.
still get the multiple campus
Yeah,
experience.
multiple campus
This is,
experience.
hmm, this is still possible.
Fantastic. And another part of that question is, let's say the student finishes the bachelor program. What options are there for students to stay and work? And I guess it does depend on the country. So, for example, if they finish in Switzerland, are there any
Mm.
opportunities to work and remain in Switzerland? Let's say China, I think no as well. Spain, I'm not too sure. I think Spain is more relaxed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually I mean in general actually the employment regulation it's just pretty similar. So students what happens is actually what we do for our students is that we start preparing them for their first job after they graduate while they're on campus while they're still in school. So the last year it's actually really spent on getting them to find jobs. So if they wish to stay in Europe or is basically in Switzerland, in order to get that work visa, so they need to seek the employment first because the company needs to apply for the work visa. So
Mm.
we will encourage the students to actually start preparing and to start seeking the employment early. We have students actually who stayed back in Switzerland to continue to work. So it's not a strict no, but
Yeah.
it's just you can't continue to work on the basis of the work um, on the student visa, but
Yes,
basis company. So what
that's right.
that's
You have to do the preparation. You have to prepare,
correct.
and that's what you guys offer as well. And I think it's
Yes.
also on on the student as well. The student will have to work hard to prepare and be active in looking for jobs. They cannot just sit there and expect the job to come. Am I wrong?
Actually, in fact, this is something I always like to emphasize and said, the government giving an extension of the visa is one thing, but you have to find the job.
Mm-hmm.
This is what what we emphasize a lot in our school to our students, where we provide all the resources to really meet their career aspiration, to really meet what they want at the end of the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lisa, I hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions, Lisa, about that, you can ask away. But we will move to the next question now. This is more about visa. Could you let us know about maybe across your different campuses, let's say Switzerland, how is the visa rate like in general? Could you say, let's say from Malaysia, for example. I think from Malaysia, the visa rate must be pretty good. How about from South Asia, if you have any idea? Maybe you could start with Malaysia.
Okay, because what happens is that in terms of our admissions and application process, we do actually take a very personalized approach. So we assess the students from day one. Mm-hmm. From the point that we got the application documents and assessment, we have a rigorous system to assess whether students are high risk of rejection. So to date, honestly, our rejection rate is very minimal. Especially if I would say coming from Southeast Asia, the only possibility of a rejection is when student has certain previous issues. So that has resulted in that rejection, or else our students in general do not have any visas issue. For those who are concerned, in fact, these are the ones that we will start preparing them early. Like in Switzerland, there's always a concern on age. So especially for the master's student. So that is something that we do flag early. So I think that is something that quite different from us and other bigger universities, where they won't be able to work on individual cases. So for us, it's kind of a bit different, especially like say for the UK campus, we have a lawyer who's actually specializing in Tier 4 visa to work with each student on the application.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point as well. So okay, so you mentioned the age just now. So what age would you say? Let's say we have students around above 35, which is not many, but you often get a question about students that are about 35 and over. Is that an age that you would flag? And what's kind of the safe zone, if you have one?
Okay, so for Switzerland, actually, there is an arbitrary age of 30. Once it's above 30, it goes in the high risk category. But that is that because we have experience handling those cases so far, we are able to appeal against it, and we have quite a good success rate in that sense.
Okay, so it's not a straight no if the student.
No, it's not. It's just because it's kind of like their visa regulation, but then as a school, because we do handle each case individually, so we are able to then reverse that decision.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's good. That's covered then. Let's go now to, I see there's a question on, do students need to study a pre-master if their bachelor is not related to hospitality?
No, they don't have to. Okay, the only thing that they probably have to do is that depending on their background, actually. So when we talk about not related to hospitality, I mean, some of them may actually be doing certain customer facing role. So that actually we take into account as well. So it need not be actually in like hospitality as a hotel industry. It can be actually service related industry that we also take into account. If not, we always have this hospitality immersion program that's about 4 weeks. It's an intensive 4 weeks before the start of the masters for them to give them the insights into the industry. So that is possible as well.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, the next question is there any cases where a student was not able to get an internship?
No.
No. Good. See, that's the preparation that they're able to.
Yes, actually, I would say it's actually from day one they are being prepared. So if there is any possibility of this even happening, it has really been flagged before students leave the campus.
Yeah, yeah. I think everyone can see today that after Shini's presentation, you can just see how dedicated the staff are, the internship team, and everyone, all the faculty preparing the student and getting them ready for the internship. So I think you can be confident that students will be able to get an internship for sure, and hopefully one that they enjoy.
7,000 different opportunities, and then compared to those on campus, and then to the number of people going on internship, there has got to be one that the student is interested in.
I got a question from Jumbe. Hello, Jumbe. It's just another question on IELTS requirements for Masters and Bachelor, which you've covered, but maybe just in case some people missed out, could you go over some of the IELTS requirement again, and how many intakes? And an important question regarding some students for master program, can they come to Switzerland with their spouse? Is that an option?
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me take one question at a time first. Okay, so in terms of the IELTS requirement for the bachelor is 5.5 with a minimum of 5 in each component. For the masters is 6 with a minimum of 5.5 in each component. Okay, so students who fail to meet that would then actually have to consider our iHelp program, okay, which is the language program that's offered. We have got 2 intake each year, which is typically in February and September. With the exception for this year, we have got an October intake because we have postponed the September to October, and next year the February is being postponed to March. So that's the only 2 changes for this period. Lastly, for those applying as a couple, so I think this I have to address it from the point where would the both students be coming in as students, as in both of them, because I have cases where the couple, both of them are going to study.
Most of the time, Shini, it's usually the wife or the husband, they want to study, and then their spouse is coming to be with them during the stay. But there could be some cases where they both come to study as well, both.
Okay, so for those actually coming in as a student alone, unfortunately, the visa will not allow them to apply for dependent for their spouse. Yeah, so I mean the spouse, depending on what nationality they can apply for a visa, which is a tourist visa. So the nationality actually allows them for extended stay. So this one would then have to really look at because if you're looking at the masters, is actually usually this I think would be the master's student.
Yes.
So the master's program is 1 year. So with 2 semesters, if you look at certain nationality, technically in that sense, the spouse can actually use the tourist visa.
Yes, and stay the duration.
Correct. So I think this one we will have to see which nationality they are.
Yeah, sure. Understood.
Okay.
That's pretty clear. Yeah, how about a good question on COVID-19 and what sort of support has Les Roches and Glion been assisting their students with?
Okay, I need to actually, I would like to open this with actually a positive thing where actually our students have all returned back to campus. So
Right.
in terms of actually support wise, I mean, the next one that we are really preparing for is the upcoming intake, which is in October. We have already designed and developed two different platforms for students. Basically, they have the option of which we do hope that all students will be able to, which is all to return back to campus. Classes will resume as per normal. Of course, with all the precautions being taken care of, you know, on campus. Of course, we do recognize that there will also be students who might not be able to travel. So for those, we have already offered the remote learning options where the classes are going to be streamed live from campus, and on top of that, they will also have access of a one-to-one counseling with the faculty, with the on-campus support team. So it's as if they are on campus. So we are offering students that kind of support. And lastly, financially, we are also helping the students who are being affected by this situation. Because I mean, obviously, we are a hospitality school. We do have families, and this really forms the majority of our students' background. So we have extended and doubled the scholarship amount available for this particular intake.
Fantastic. Okay, let's go on to and another thing just on COVID-19. So at the current stage, Switzerland has no restriction on student from any country at starting the October intake this year.
Restrictions as in if you're saying visa refusal.
I mean, whether Switzerland has a policy right now where they're not letting people from certain countries to enter Switzerland.
Not really. So, okay, in that sense, I would say that they are still approving the visas. We don't have any visa refusal based on this situation.
Yes.
But then, like, say they do have a list of countries that if the students were traveling from that particular country into Switzerland, they have to be quarantined. And we provide students the facility to be quarantined on campus.
Right. That's really good.
No disruption. They will pick them up straight from the airport to campus and they'll be quarantined on campus.
That's fantastic. I can't think of many institutions that do that.
Yeah, so they won't have any
very
disruption.
Good. Okay, we're getting a lot of questions here about the school fees. So I think maybe we can cover that again.
Okay, so for school fees, I would say maybe I would send it across so that you can actually send it together with the PowerPoint slides. So maybe after school fees, because it depends on the campus and program.
There's so many. There's many different course fees. Yeah. How about maybe just so everyone knows, when a student does want to go and they confirm, is there like an initial deposit that the student will have to pay? Is it roughly one semester tuition fee?
Okay, so basically depending on when, so let's say we go by the normal application route where students apply early, so they will just pay the confirmation deposit, which is 5,000 franc for the Swiss campuses. So that's across the two schools.
Across the two, okay, 5,000 franc.
Yeah, then it's about 4,000 euros for the Spain campus.
Spain.
And
Fantastic. Okay.
So
And when is that? Is there a deadline for that payment? Let's say we have a student wanting to start in October, for example. When would the
okay,
deadline for that payment need to be?
so the deposit is usually being paid 15 within the 15 days period after they receive the offer letter.
Mm-hmm.
And with the balance of the tuition being paid about 2 months before the start. So, but if it's October, it's actually pretty soon. So,
Quite late now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the October, like say for example, these upcoming
Just for
October,
example.
yeah, this examples for this upcoming October intake students, then
Mm-hmm.
after 15 days that they have paid, they usually have about a month
Mm-hmm.
to pay the balance.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah, fantastic. Okay.
I
Yeah,
do
and
actually, because I was just looking and I saw another question about the fees portion,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
which is actually on scholarship fee structure and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, an application fee. We do have an application fee, which is 275 Swiss franc per
Mm,
application.
mm,
Um, on top of which, if students have, I mean, aside from, we definitely have scholarship. Aside from scholarship, if students have issues paying because just now we talked about the deposit and then the final payment about a month after, if students have issues with that final amount, they can actually take up a payment plan that is between like 2 installments to 6 installments.
mm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to have a payment plan as well. That's quite convenient. So yeah, we've gone through application charges, and we've got one question about scholarships for countries. So are there any specific scholarships for, let's say, Indonesia or for, say, Malaysia or Vietnam? Are there specific scholarships depending on the country? No.
No, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite blanket across different countries. So we based on merit, we based on financial needs.
Yep. Understood.
So for the October intake, we have got up to 40% scholarship available
Mm,
for
mhm.
students. Mm.
Okay, and Imelda from Medan in Indonesia asks, is it online? Is there online study programs, or is there online study for culinary programs? How long will it take to complete the online study? Is there any difference between online and face-to-face for the duration?
At this moment, for Glion and the Roche, we do not offer on culinary program. I mean, we do have online, but for this October intake, because there are students with travel restrictions, but we do not offer a culinary specific program. It's business and hospitality. We do offer culinary in our sister school, which is Echo Dukas.
Mm-hmm. Yep, great. Okay, going through. Got another question here about, okay, we talked about the deposits, but let's say we have a student from certain countries. They have to
Mm.
their financial background to show that they've got enough money for the whole duration of the program. For example, in Australia, you have to prove, if you want to study in Australia, you have to prove that you have money in the bank, or prove your financial capability in order to go to Australia and study. Is there something similar like that for Switzerland as well? Will the immigration team look into bank accounts, loans? Would they look into property valuations, things like that?
Yes, but we don't have to show the full program cost. It's actually a 1 year of tuition and
On
living
nutrition.
expenses. And I think one thing for our school, actually, when you see the fee structure, you would see that we have simplified the system for our students, because in our cost structure that we give to students, basically there will be meal plan and accommodation, insurance, and everything factored in.
All together.
Yes. So as long as actually they are able to show the equivalent of 1 year within that amount, that it wouldn't be a problem.
Okay. For example, let's say normally, let's say the most popular course or business related, how much should you prepare for 1 year off the top of your head?
If we are in general, actually, if you clock out, like say, let's use Switzerland as
Yeah, let's use Switzerland.
because it's actually the most expensive. So
Yes.
if we like beyond the fees, which is Glion's fees is actually slightly higher. So we are looking at about 45,000 for one semester, which includes tuition, insurance, books, meals, and accommodation. So it's about 45,000 for one semester. And for the Swiss campus, actually, and for the bachelor students, the first semester, so they don't have to pay anything during the internship period. So basically, in the bank account, they do have to just show one semester.
Okay, one semester. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Okay. Could you comment on permanent residency for Switzerland or for Spain? Do you know about options for like in the history that you've been there? Have you known students that have gone on to stay in Switzerland or Spain, for example, and then gone on to achieve permanent residency in that country? Is that an option, or is it quite difficult, I think?
Okay, it's actually not quite I would say this is actually not quite over the years it's not quite an option that our students really take up. I think because of the nature and the background of our students, because they are quite mobile. So I mean there are people who went on, but not that many.
Yeah, not that many. Yeah. Yeah, I think for most students that go there, it's really about the experience in country, the work experience, and then go back to your home country after that.
They do stay on to take on
work.
Actually on work, and actually
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like even in Roches, we have got our alumni, and one of them came. They are husband and wife. I think I can't remember the husband's nationality. The wife is Japanese. They actually stayed on, and now they are running restaurants in Switzerland. Actually,
fantastic.
So, yeah, they do stay on. I mean, they've been in Switzerland for like 10, 20 years already.
Okay, and just another question on the scholarships. Is there like a requirement, maybe a GPA requirement? Let's say you're finish high school or you finish your bachelor program in your home country, and you're looking at scholarships.
Those who are actually applying on the academic, so there's a few scholarships opportunities and different criteria that we look at. So those who are being assessed on the academic, portion, they will have to meet a minimum requirement of 70% in the average GPA, whether is it for the high school or for the bachelor. Then if it's the financial part, then they have to kind of show us or explain to us. We'll get them to write a letter to explain their financial situation.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah. So this would be the two key factors that we take into consideration.
Sure. And last question here I see is that just want to confirm, is it 45,000 Swiss francs for one semester? That's correct.
Yes, but it can be lower.
Can be lower.
Because I'm actually
and they will know the outcome of their scholarship with the offer letter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll know well before they have to pay the deposit. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it from us because we've gone a little bit over time. And thank you so much for your presentation. Very, very clear and really exciting to hear about the opportunities there. And if you have any more questions for us about this institution, please do let us know and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And once again, Shini, thank you for your support, and we will keep in touch as well. And hopefully we have some good students for you soon. In particular, from our markets in Asia.
Okay, great. I look forward to the good news then.
Yes, we hope so. Okay, we'll stay in touch.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.